Good morning and welcome to Duality. I'm your host, Akasha, and I'm here with our special guest, Lina.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Thank you so much for being here. It's been like a blessed adventure, really aligned, you know. I was out in Jamaica and I was like, yo, I have this idea. Like, let me hit up Lina. And it just worked. And like the 2 days in which you were off too, it happened to be the days
because
that...
I never get days off. And she hit me up and I was like, all right, let me go meet this girl because I know she's cool. And 5 hours later, we were sitting down having a conversation about everything.
Everything.
That was fun.
That was dope.
Yeah.
We're really like, it's like
Yeah.
time just escaped. We were just like, okay, boom.
I feel like I got to know you in one day, like your whole life.
Facts.
That was dope. Yeah.
That was really cool. And it's like, like on First Avenue, the lights were going off and the businesses are over here
And we're
just
still
chatting,
sitting there.
drinking our tea, chatting.
Yep.
Like, but it's cool. It's always cool when you meet people and you're able to like just like feel like you're able to connect and just share your truth and have those moments where it's like, it's just cool when you meet people like that, especially like out here, you know, locally where we live. It's like a lot of times in New York City, it's like very... people walk around more like Aggie, you know? It's just like, you know, but you can meet the people that you smile, you have that like, oh, okay, like, life isn't so rough, you know? And
just be comfortable and just make conversations with people. People find it so hard to make conversations with people, and everybody just walks around tippy-toeing on not knowing what to say to people. Just talk to people. That's it. How are you going to get to know people?
Without a doubt. And it's like, I feel like that in general is like, kind of something that's universal with like every topic of like being able to like break through that threshold of you know, there's like always a sense of like a little bit of fear, like even if you're gonna like have a conversation with someone, even if you're gonna smile at a stranger in the street and it's gonna be like, oh, okay, like should I smile, like
Right.
Are they gonna accept the smile, like is this gonna be okay, you know, or like, oh, hey, like, oh, you wanna, you know, like hang out, or even just saying anything, being vulnerable in any aspect is like, there's that threshold. And it's like, I feel like that also fits in with the topic in which we're getting into in this podcast is like, you know, different parts of exploring your own sexuality, understanding it, and also for those folks that are more leaning towards the LGBTQ community and like what it is to come out and when that happens. And it's kind of like that same sense, but like maybe a little bit more amplified, you know, of like that threshold of, okay, am I gonna say this? Am I gonna pursue this? Like, is this okay for me to do, you know? And
Too nervous to come out your shell, or like feel like somebody's going to judge you.
Yeah.
Just listen, when you feel something, you feel something. You have no control of it. How many of us just walk around like all day just thinking about the things we want to do, thinking about the things we want to say, thinking about, oh man, I might like kind of like this person, but I don't know how I'm going to be viewed, how they're going to judge me. Just fucking like who you like. Period. If it makes you smile, because somebody's been smiling lately. Right over here. She's been smiling lately. It's for a specific reason. Because there's a something or someone that's making you smile and making you feel things.
Just gonna put me on the spot,
Yeah.
just like from the get. Like,
Yeah. This is all about her today, guys. The show's about her.
no. It's not just about me. It's about anybody else who could also like resonate and have.
But when you feel it, you feel it.
Yeah.
You have to have that giddy feeling. And you have to like let it out and you have to let it flow. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel, you know, I wanna start with the question of like, what determines whether, you know, I feel like in the world that we live in right now, there's so much fluidity, which is a beautiful thing because there is not as much confines, especially in the past, that it would be like very like you're this way or you're this way or you're that or you're that, and everything had to be kind of like confined to a label, right? And like now there's a lot of people that are not only coming out but coming out with more like fluid terms. And for me personally, I have always identified as like fluid. Like my whole life I've liked everybody and I just thought everybody did until like I understood like, oh, like people don't necessarily like say the same sex as much as they like opposite sex or like anything in between, and you know, and I had to like learn that and be like, oh, okay. And growing up too, I noticed that anytime that I kind of exuded any kind of gayness or like, you know, y'all don't quote me on, I'm not the most PC person, so I'm not gonna always say everything that's gonna be perfectly applied to the situation, but yeah, getting into it, like if I would do anything that was more like on the note of leaning more towards gay, that people would either sexualize it or almost like shame, like condemn it, like not necessarily like it's bad, but be like what are you, fucking lesbian? Like, right. You know, and like just say it in a way that had a negative connotation that like made me feel like uncomfortable. It made me feel like even if I was feeling that way,
what
it's
if
like,
I was?
Yeah,
right.
But especially like when I was younger, because as I got older, I you know, didn't necessarily care as much about my perception because I knew who I was. Mm-hmm. And even when I was younger, I did too. But, you know, as a child and like young teen, like you are so porous to your environment around you. And a lot of times that I would like, you know, wear something or do something and that would be said, like, although I would shake it off, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, either way, like I'd be like, yeah, and if I was or whatever I said back, like, that stuff's still like stored in the mind, right. Like it's like in our central nervous. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a reaction to it. It was said in a negative way, and like my body took it as like, am I doing something wrong?
You're right.
So even if I didn't think I was, my physical body had that reaction. Yourself. Yeah, right. And it's just like something that I noticed throughout my life and in partnerships. So like I've dated, when I was younger, I actually dated a lot more women before men, and then when I started dating men, I was kind of dating men majority, kind of bulk, and then I would go back and forth, and I identified as fluid, you know, like as like, okay, I'm open to all these things, and then I realized, you know, and I started to realize over time goes on, I would always say like, I don't even know if I'm necessarily like built to be with a man, like I don't even know if like, I don't even think I want to do this, you know? And then I started uncovering like the different things, not only like societally, but also like familially, just like the traumas in which we carry and the cycles in which we go through. You know, there's a big cycle in my family of like trauma with men, and like it makes sense that, you know, I have had my experience with men the way I did at the time. Like I don't regret ever dating men. I don't think that, oh, I don't ever want to be with the man again. I mean, low key, I do think that, but like, it's
let's just put that out there.
But
man.
I don't feel like anti-men is what I'm trying to say, right. Because of anything in particular. It's not that anything is wrong with men. I just feel like I just like women more. Women. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel
like I felt, you know, I have a daughter, and people don't even believe it because they look at me and it's like, oh, you kind of look like a boy, you kind of look like a girl, but you kind of like are pretty like a girl, but you kind of dress like a boy. And it's like, wait, how did you have a daughter if you're gay? And it's like, I had a daughter a long time ago. My daughter's going to be 23 years old in March. And it's like, you know, I was with her father at a young age where I thought in my head I was supposed to be with a man. You know, I'm 16 years old. I'm clueless. I don't know shit about life. I just want to hang out with my guy friends and, you know, bike ride and play handball. And, you know, the girls that I had were my high school homegirls, who are my sisters, literally. But I had no interest in, like, dating people. I didn't really understand what that was. And just being with my daughter's father was something I thought that society programs you to think, like, all right, like, here's this guy, he likes me, whatever the case is, and then just allowing myself to do certain things that I probably was not comfortable with, especially at such a young age, and then having to do it in my brain knowing that I hated it. Mm-hmm. It was uncomfortable for me. I didn't like the feeling, and here I was, this young kid, like unknowledgeable of what I'm supposed to feel when you're with somebody that you care about genuinely, that you're attracted to, that you love, that you vibe with, that gives you the butterflies and all that. And I didn't feel that ever, you know, until my first girlfriend. That I was just like, bam, you know, like I, you know, told you before, you know, I was 18 and she was my first girlfriend, and we were in GED classes, and I would walk her to the train station, and every time we kissed goodbye, like she caught half of my lip all the time. And I was just like mind blown by this like half a kiss. And I would go home and I would just think about her, but like not understanding like I like this girl. Like I like this girl. Like I want to do more with this girl than just get the half lip, you know? And in high school too, like I just was experimenting and making out with all my high school homegirls because we just thought it was fun, you know what I mean? But without realizing like it was fun, but I liked it, you know what I mean?
I like this. I want to pursue this venture more.
Yeah. And then, you know, after that, it was just like fucking take off. Like, man, what? You know? I'm not a man hater, you know? I am a lesbian, and that's what I identify as. I more so identify as a woman who loves another woman, you know, because I'm not big on labels. Yeah. You know, I don't like labels. It's never been me. Pronouns, I respect it for people who say their pronouns obsessively. People who don't say their pronouns, whatever the case is. Like, if you ask me what my pronoun is, I will say she, her, but like, authentically, I'm Lina. And that's who I am. I was born Lina, and I'll die Lina. And, you know, the label thing is just, it's just something like we're taught to put on ourselves in order to categorize ourselves and put ourselves in, okay, like, are you a lesbian who's femme aggressive? Are you a dyke? Are you this? Are you that? It's just like, I'm a tomboy. That's why I think of myself as, you know, a tomboy who loves women. And, you know, am I feminine? I can be. Yeah. Am I aggressive? I shit can be. You know what I mean? But there's no labels. You love who you love, and you feel however you feel. You know, I'm most comfortable dressed like this. I haven't wore a dress since I don't even know when. I think probably my sister's wedding when I was 18. And wearing that, I felt so uncomfortable. It was just like this green stupid dress that I had to wear, and I hated the dress. Sorry, I don't think my sister's gonna be listening to this. Sorry, my bad. If she does, I already told her I hated that dress in the jump.
If she does, she already knows.
She already knows. We had this other dress picked out, and something didn't work out for whatever reason. Somebody didn't fit in one of the dresses, and everybody had to change them up. And I just felt like this green dress, I felt like I was just a fucking tree. Like I went into the wedding and I looked like a tree. But whatever, you know, like. So
I feel like bridal dresses in general, just
bro,
I've never seen really good ones besides in
Bridal,
pictures.
Like in Brooklyn, like come on,
step your game up, David's Bridal. If you're
I know
listening,
what I'm saying, like you should make some like masculine looking dresses to make other people feel comfortable. I don't know. And then wearing heels, like I just felt like I was in a drag show. It was just awful.
Yeah, I think you said it beautifully before, like not identifying necessarily with labels, like being a woman who loves a woman. Like I love even that term of saying it like that rather than having like, you know, lesbian, bi, pan, all of these different things. Like it's great. It's great to be able to explain something in which you're feeling internally, externally, and have a word for it. I agree with that and understand that. But I'm also very similar in the sense of like, I very labelless in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of like my understanding is just like I am who I am, and you're gonna see me as I am, and you don't have to be with a label to think you know or think you can put me in a place or like me because of the label or not like me because of the label. but also simultaneously, I've been coming into understanding that, like, in not labeling myself, I gave, like, so much space and so much opportunity to all kind of areas. And now it's like, it's not that I regret that. It's more that I'm now narrowing it down. You know, it's like, okay, well, I've had experience in both ends, and I know what I like more. Yeah.
Like, this layer didn't work. This layer doesn't feel right. This layer is like, it's all right, but it still doesn't make me feel like me. All right, you know what? Let's take this until... look at Ash. I'm sure this is what you feel most comfortable in. You have a dope style, by the way.
Oh, thank
you.
I
love it. It's amazing.
I appreciate you.
And like you, for example, like your style or whatnot, if somebody's walking down the street and they look at you, what do they think that you look like right now? Like,
I don't know.
All right, you could be straight, you could be gay, you got this like little like gay looking vibe, but then you could just be like real stylish and dope and be totally into men. Somebody's not gonna know that just by looking at your outfit, you know? Like, I could be dressed like this and I could be straight as hell.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes it is the clothes that identifies you, and sometimes it's not. Like, but I mean, I have great gaydar, so I knew you had some kind of gayness in you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
Every woman does.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are. I don't care how many times you say, I love dick, I'll never be with a woman.
Yeah.
Do women sound like that? Did I just, like, put a voice for, like, women to sound so twiny and annoying?
Low-key, a little bit, low-key.
Sorry, girls.
Sorry, women.
But,
It's just like when you're doing a different voice. So it doesn't have to be just because
that was terrible. I should just stick to my day job. But like, no, I truly believe that all women have some kind of internal, you know, fantasy or like, damn, I wonder what it would be like to be with a woman. That's why I always say, like, you should just explore it. I mean, men are different. I don't know. Like, men should explore it, too.
Yeah,
I
really feel like men should explore it, too. Like, it's just, I feel like it's something that naturally comes to everybody's minds and not something that everyone pursues. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't pursue it in the long run. But even just, like, allowing yourself to attempt it. Like, I always found something I found that was really interesting that I've been reflecting on.
No homo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, why do we have to say no homo? I want to say homo.
Mad homo.
Mad homo. So homo.
It's like with what was I saying? Oh, something I've been realizing recently. I noticed that closer to my clarity, in which you can say. Because, like, if that hasn't been clarified on the podcast at this point, like, you know, I have a lot of clarity on my sexuality, what it is that I want, who it is that I want, and what it is that I want to do with that. So, like, in having that clarity, like, a little prior to that, which I'll, like, kind of recircle and get back to that, but, like, what I want to mention now is I was noticing that prior to me getting clear, we're talking about the label thing, because it was like fluid, it was like, okay, I'm like very open and receptive to all things, that it made it confusing. So the confusion was like, I noticed I was projecting onto men the most common thing I was saying for the past, I'd say 2 years, is I don't even think men give me what I'm looking for. I don't think it's like innately in them.
Can you repeat that?
I don't think that a man could give me what I'm personally looking for.
Can you repeat that? Let's clarify that. Can you repeat that?
And in that, like, I've said that, and I've said that in passing, and I've said that in many different occasions, but, like, it didn't seep in. Like, it didn't fully seep in to the extent of in the future, and I went through these different stages of it where it was like I found myself really attracted to like more gay men, And I'm like, why? Because they're more feminine. They're more in tune with their femininity usually, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, why am I like crushing on gay men right now? OD. Why am I like imagining life with like a gay man? Like, what kind of self-sabotage shit am I on? Like, what the fuck is going on? You know? And like, it was just something, it was a part of the way of like clearing things up for me. Cause I'm like,
well, flamboyant part of it, that it's
yeah,
just like, it's like hot, but also, like, I know you're still a man.
Also the compassion, my hair just went in my eye. I was like, oh my God. I swear, I'm beyond the podcast, the most awkward shit be having, and they don't even know. I was just like, okay, I can see again. I was like, just play it cool, like you're not getting stabbed by your own hair, okay? Like,
you don't need to see to be gay, so just close your eyes and just
listen, yeah. But yeah, like I was like, it was so many different layers peeling back like the onion, you know, and just like of the I'm just gonna kick the table, but of just like the experience of I guess like coming out, but just like coming out within myself to narrow down what I actually want. It's like, how long was I projecting what I wanted from, in all actuality, a woman onto a man? And so many times in experiences I've had with dating men, I'm like, well, I've dated so many men, like, I can't be gay. I can't be that gay. Yeah. If I've slept with and been with men, like in long-term relationships, like, you know, I can't be. But then I was like thinking about the other, I'm like, it kind of balances out though. And when I look at like the men, and even if it didn't, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of getting the clarity in what it is that you want to pursue. And what I've also realized is, like we were talking about before, is the trauma cycle. Like, there was things for me to learn. Like, I needed to learn things in having these relations with men that I wouldn't have learned dating a woman, because I needed to learn these things about myself. Like, these different things needed to come out and be checked and integrated because of the ancestral trauma that has been passed on, for me to correct, for me to liberate myself and my family and my lineage from it. And then that just, like, I feel like it's just like the happy ending for me. It's like, okay, like, you've liberated yourself from this trauma. Now you can go be gay.
Now what? Right,
go be gay. Go have fun.
And it's like, you were with these men, but like, how satisfied were you in each and every relationship that you were in? Or were you just being there? Or were you just like accepting the norm of it? Like, how satisfied were you?
Yeah.
Probably not satisfied enough. You know, because we have this internal thing where we'll do things, but internally we know what we feel, and we know what is not enough for us. Yeah. And we'll still try to do the norm things just to feel like, all right, we're supposed to do this and that and that and that. But it's like, no, we still know we're battling ourselves. And like you said, it's all that ancestral like traumas of, like, you know, what our families went through, what they were taught, what they teach us. And I mean, we're in the 21st century right now. It's like, shit is different now. Yeah. Like, gay marriage is legal now. Yeah. I mean, whoever thought that would happen? More people are coming out now. You have all these like lingos and all these kind of like pansexual, asexual, you know, there's so many. I can't even keep up, and I'm gay, you know. But people are coming out now, and people are feeling confident enough and comfortable enough to say, I'm bisexual, I'm gay, I'm whatever the hell it is. And that took a long time. It did. But like you said, it's like, you have to do it as a unity. You can't just like make something happen, just one person. You have to speak up. Somebody else has to speak up. We have to make this and enforce it to be the norm, because it is a norm. Being gay is normal. Being gay is not different. It's so much more normal than being straight. It's just as equal, if anything, you know. If I allowed myself to just continue to try to be with men, I'd be miserable. Like, why would society want me to be miserable just because I'm supposed to be a certain way, you know? There was this one guy, like, he was my friend, and we kind of dated, but it kind of wasn't dating, but, like, in the norm world, it was kind of dating. We didn't do anything, but, like, we would kiss here and there. And, like, this guy generally wanted to be with me. And he was so amazing. He was such a great guy. He was really sweet and so respectful, and we just always had a great time. And I told him one day, I can't be with you. You have all the qualities I would ever want in a female. But you're not a female. And you have parts and you have things that I'm not comfortable with. Yeah. So, you know, it just goes back to being comfortable with yourself and not doing things just to do them.
And pursuing things that you actually make you feel good. And, you know, like you were saying before, it's like, how much have people settled in not being satisfied? How many relations, like how many swipes can you see on Tinder of people looking for a unicorn when it's probably somebody who's like kind of gay?
Yeah.
And not to call people out, but to call people out a little bit. But it's like, it's so many different things that you experience and see, especially after the fact. Like during I feel women as a collective have been so groomed to endure not being satisfied that it takes a little bit to realize that you're not, like, that there you can be satisfied.
Yeah.
You know, because like it's almost like this illusion that, you know, oh well, you know you can't have everything you want. But it's like, but you could and you could at least have, like, you might not have everything exactly the way you see it, but like you can have things that are meant for you, that are supposed to make you feel good. And something key that you mentioned before is like, I don't think society would want me to suffer. Like, one of my big clarifiers in a whole situation, like, I feel like there was this weight that was on me for a long time, and it was this like possibility, this what if that I had with one of my exes who was a male. And that I feel like I even wrote in my journal, I'm like, I wonder if I even love this person, or if they are the obstacle and the excuse for me to not live exactly the way I want to live.
Right.
Yeah. And when I was unpacking that, I was realizing, like, you know, even in a relationship that I thought that I was so in love, like, I was laying down in my bed, you know, and facing the other way and thinking about women, and I was having these experiences, and I felt so guilty and wrong for it. You know, especially being in a partnership. I was like, oh my God, with a man, like, and I'm like, all right, well, you know, maybe this is just because I'm with a man. Maybe it's not. Maybe if I wasn't with a man,
right,
then I wouldn't feel the same way.
Or like we said before, do you have a sister, man? Do you have a mom? I'll take the mom, the sister,
the grandma. You said like grandma. You got watch
out. You are not what I want, but you have a sister, a mom, a MILF mom. Like, let's go.
It took me, I feel, a extremely, like, exactly the journey that I needed to have and be on in order to not only accept my gayness, but also, like, in the fullest capacity, because it's not like I ever neglected it. I didn't. Like, I've had girlfriends, like, I've my family know this, like, but it's more so just being like, it's almost like a beat a level, you know, and I don't have to, like, I got rid of this, like, tool I had. I have this, like, better improved tool, and, like, I could use it to better my life and just make things make sense. And it's like, it is a sense of peace and clarity that I didn't know I needed until it happened, you know. And you don't realize that it's like, I can be, like, very in my head and very I need to do everything on my own. I need to have my sense of independence, because if I don't, then someone's gonna hold it over my head, or whatever the case is. I could be like that a lot, but, you know, sometimes it does take another person, you know, being open to experiencing space and time in exchange with another person that will invoke that, and that's okay. Like, that doesn't have to be shameful. Like, it doesn't have to be codependent either. You know, like, it's okay to have an experience with a person and have that be like the catalyst to a bunch of clarity, you know, and
hang around like-minded people.
Absolutely.
Find a group that thinks like you and feels like you. Like, don't allow yourself to be in this circle where you're the only one that feels this way, and you feel like if you out yourself, like your friends are gonna ditch you, or your family's not gonna accept you. Like, no, ditch your friends. Don't let them ditch you. Like, if they're your friends and they'll accept you, you should feel comfortable enough to just hang out and feel liberated to be like, oh my God, that girl's cute. Oh, I want to go talk to that girl, without your friends being like, oh my God, like you're gay or whatever the case is. Or even like family. Like, so many people find it so hard to live genuinely because your family, you know, when I was younger and I had my daughter or whatever, you know, my daughter's father made me feel like I had to hide my pregnancy or whatever in fear that my parents were going to kick me out or disown me or whatever. Like, be vulnerable and be open to sit and talk to your parents if you do feel like they're those kind of parents that live in those old ways and those old generations. You know, teach them, because they've taught us enough, but it's time for us to teach them our ways, you know? It's all about just learning from each other, accepting one another, and just feeling like, you know what, the time's now. Like, when are you gonna live like this? And we could die tomorrow. And your parents, you're probably dating somebody and you've been dating them and you've been telling your family that you're friends, and you know, God forbid you cross the street and you get hit by a truck and you die. Now your parents will never know that who you were authentically. They'll always assume like, oh, my daughter died, she never got to date this guy. And it's like, no, she was probably dating this woman, girl, whatever, and like was so in love with her and could not tell her because you guys didn't make it comfortable enough for them. Yeah. Especially this generation. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's such a norm now. And I remember just like feeling like, damn, how come I couldn't be as open and vulnerable as this generation now, you know? And I relate to my generation. I relate to the generation of now. I look younger than I am, but I'm not. Clearly, my daughter's going to be 23. But I relate to her. You know, I relate to her generation and her friends. And I think of my own generation, and I realize, damn, my generation sucks. You know, as far as sexuality and being gay and being open and being out. So yeah, like, just finding people and allies for you that are you know, on your side and willing to cheer you on and just let you know, like, you're not alone. Like, so what? You like pussy? Great. What the fuck is the pussy gonna do to you? It's not gonna kill you. It's a pussy. You know, you got a dick and you got a pussy. Like, if the dick don't kill you, the pussy will definitely not kill you.
Pussy will revitalize you, actually.
Right. That's vitamins, nutrients.
Facts, nectar of the gods.
You don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like, you know, like, each generation does the best with what the previous generation has given them. So it's like also compassion for that too. Is like, you know, I'm millennial, but the generation after me, Generation Z, right? And yeah. Gen Z, like, they are like very much so out and spoken about so many things, and like the millennials, I feel like, you know, are also like especially now, it's like the bridge in the between, you know, that and that. I'm not sure.
I'm considered an elder millennial. Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
he's still a millennial nonetheless.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'm an elder millennial. Like, damn, that doesn't make me feel good.
But at the same token, I feel like I feel like as like I'm like a baby millennial, you know, because like I'm like the last year literally. So like, what I've known also by being, my sisters are like 7 and 10 years older than me, so they're like more towards the elder millennial aspect as well. And like, something I've always noticed is like, there was things I looked up to that side of people growing up, and the less technology, you know, a lot of different things. Because even me, like, I still had less technology than people now, but like, my point of getting into all of this is like, we're all just doing, I seen things that were more accepting and less accepting then and even now. And like, there's pros and cons to that too, with everything. And I think that we're all just doing the best that we can. I love that, you know, there is so much pride now and that pride to be able to be embodied in a lot of spaces in which it wasn't in the past. So I think that that's beautiful. And the acceptance and, you know, the different things that we've been stepping into as a society collectively and have been like pushing forward with. So I think, you know, it's a balance. And when we do come across those aspects of maybe our family, and it doesn't even have to be like outright, like you're banished if you're gay or things like that. There is still the aspect of when your family's like, okay, but like, oh, it's a phase.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, you're gonna get married.
She'll come back. You're still gonna introduce her to Carlos from down the block.
Yeah, like I said, like you know, we'll see how long this lasts. You know, even
like, no, I don't want that shit.
Even like, in that, it's like, yo, like love you, fam, but like I don't need no more help, like with you invalidating me. Like you've already done that in other areas. Like now we don't need to do that.
You already fucked me up. Let me unfuck myself.
Right now. Like we don't need to get into the sexuality aspect of it too, and just be like, all right, let's invalidate this too. Like, especially when you're so happy about it. This is why I feel like also. For me, in my like coming out, you know, and my gayness.
She's
like,
out.
It's like more of a clarifier, you know, because it's like in anything else, like I feel like, you know, if anyone's listening to this podcast or if they know me personally, like it's not a surprise. Like I said to my friend Adriana the other day, I was talking to her on the phone, I was like, yeah, like I'm like very gay, you know? And she's like, yeah, no, I know. And I'm like,
yeah.
And she's like, and I'm like, no, like, you don't, like, I don't know if you get it. Like, it's like
I've hit the spot.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like,
the spot has been hit.
It's here
the
with
spot,
it. Yeah. And she's like, do you expect me to be surprised? Like, I don't know why you expect me to be surprised. so like people know that about me, but now it's just like the clarity and the full embodiment and like open conversation about it. That, you know, what I like to do with this podcast is not only, you know, share, like I like to share also my truth as well as bringing others to amplify their truth and sharing with the collective, going back and forth to either help validate or know that, you know, you're not alone, and also to be and I'll say it, I'll give myself credit because I know I don't like to do that, but I'm going to do it, to be a role model and a spokesperson for people to embody vulnerability and authenticity, to be like, hey, this is super fucking uncomfortable. Guess what? Let's go on the podcast about it.
Right, like, let's talk about it.
Like, in fact, this one I was more excited about. There's been plenty of other episodes on this podcast where I'm talking about a lot more controversial shit. This is fun for me. This one's good. It. Yeah. This one's like, I keep on saying this too, like,
this one's the it because you're having these little, look at your face. Yo, she's blushing. She's like, please don't put me in a spot. She looks like, and she's like, her vibration and her aura right now is making me feel like how I felt when I met my wife. You know, my wife now. We just got married. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And shout out to Christine with her beautiful captions, yo. Like, yo, y'all look amazing. Y'all look so
with
beautiful.
These pictures.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I met my wife now, you know, I was dating somebody that was not who I was meant to be with at all. And, you know, I stayed with this person for a few years, but it was just not the right person for me. And when I met Mel, it was in a time where I needed to meet her. Mm-hmm. And it was in a time where, like, I genuinely, like, fell in love with her the first day I met her. Like, I can't even explain it. It was like butterflies. It was just like we vibed in a way that I had never vibed with another female. And, like, we were inseparable. 5 years later, like, we're married, you know? So the feelings that you should feel with whoever you're with. And, of course, we fight all the time. We have tons of problems. Like, who doesn't? It doesn't mean I love her any less. It just, it
That's what
makes
makes it
it
real, though,
yeah,
you
it
know?
makes it worth fighting for. It makes it worth trying to find the common ground of communicating. And I'm so bad at communicating. I shut down and I don't want to talk, and I'm like stubborn and all this stuff. But like, when you love somebody, you just don't give up. You know what I mean? And she still gives me butterflies to this day. You want to feel that with somebody. So just feeling your aura and knowing like you're feeling what I have been feeling all this time, and what I felt when I first met her, which was that just genuine feeling of being with a woman and knowing that this shit feels right. Like, it feels good. I'm excited about it. I want more of that excitement. I want to keep going. Like, just feed me. Like, feed me this happiness that is nourishing my gut and making my heart feel whole. That's how you should feel inside when you like somebody, love somebody, care about somebody. You shouldn't feel like you're half-assing a relationship and doing it just because. Like,
or like literally in panic. Like that's something that's a big reason why I wasn't fully aware of like where, like, just romantically in general, like when someone be like, what do you want? Well, what do you want in a relationship? And I would like have to really think like hard. Like I didn't have it in the forefront because I was so programmed and used to like my central nervous system having like panic and calling that love. So I like almost gaslighted myself, naturally, accidentally, given my trauma and my family's trauma, to think that every time I was having a reaction that it was love, and it wasn't. Like, so it's something I've been saying, like something I was saying last night. I was just like, yo, like this doesn't feel like this. I've never experienced having butterflies without anxiety. Like this is just like, it's just so pure. Like it's so pure and it's so like real.
It's flowy, girl.
And it's just like with that is
I think people are loving our little cast here.
Yeah,
shit, like, blip, blip. I can't read it from here.
Yeah, I usually at the end I'll take it. We'll go to it and we could read everything that everyone says.
So how is Ash feeling? Akash, how you feeling
about what?
About today, this very moment, and how you were feeling? Let's just say last month. Until, I don't know, some cool little thing happened where it has you free-flowing.
I'm like over here, like really in my bag on this podcast right now.
I just give her some air.
Oh, man.
Make sure I
need it. I need it.
Like the other day, I slapped her. It was a spotted lantern on her head.
Here. Yeah.
Kill those mofos. On her head. I was
like boom, right on top of my head. I was like, oh shit, what's going on? Fucking cracked my head on the lock. There was a lot of things that were happening.
Yo.
But yeah, like, clear. The answer is clear. Like, I feel like
that's
the
a good answer.
The most clarity I've ever had in my entire life, the most realist I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, I didn't realize how much cloudiness was around.
What was going on?
What?
Like,
what do you mean?
What specify what are you talking about? Yeah.
Around relationships, around like,
I put her on the spot.
Oh, gee, like around
with a female.
With a female, yes.
It's making you feel all jittery these days.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See that? You could only get that with a female.
Yo, it's like I'm stuck. I'm just like hiding on this shit. Like, whatever. I have this hat for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Is that an arrow in your head?
It's Appa. Appa from.
Oh, that's dope.
From Avatar. Shout out to my friend. Got it for me for my birthday, but yeah,
nice
not me changing the subject.
Yeah.
Me changing the subject. And my phone, like I'm over here like malfunctioning. On sound instead of putting it on silent. You know? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm broken right now.
Somebody's getting nervous.
I'm not broken. I'm in fact, I feel the opposite.
Is making her nervous.
So yeah, to your question, I definitely feel clear. Like I feel the most clarity I've ever felt in my life. It's like, I had that moment where I was like, yo, I was like, I just like laid back, I was listening, and I was like, I understand why people like make a big deal about coming out. Like, this is the most fucking clear I felt about anything in my entire life. What the fuck?
About coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, but it's been a really beautiful journey, and
That's
you know,
dope.
so I'm
love that.
looking forward.
I love that for you, and I'm happy for you, because you know, it doesn't matter what age you are, whatever. You know, you like you said, you had your experiences with men. I've had my experiences and whatnot. But when you finally get to that point where you're just like, shit, I feel good. Like, I feel good. Like, I feel like good, you know?
I know.
This shit feels real good. Like, this feels safe. This feels good. This feels homey. It feels warm. It feels like it's where you belong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not to say that, okay, you're having this moment right now. You might go to a man one day. You might not. But right now, you know authentically, like, there was a little link that you've been missing.
It like opened up a
feeling.
door.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it opened up a door that I thought was already open, you know, but wasn't. And then in that door I like stepped out, and it's like I stepped out of a fog.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's trickling into everything else that I'm doing in my life. Like, I feel like because I've had to endure these experiences, which I've gotten more clarity within my trauma in having relations with men, and not being, or I can even say like just not being as clear of what my true like sexuality is and embodying that. I've learned so much and have been able to heal so much in my trauma, but still been unclear about what I want. So it's like you're over here like smudging and lighting sage, and you're cleansing everything. I was cleansing everything. Like, while I was dating men, I was cleansing everything. I was cleansing and purifying like my whole being.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, are you done? Like, you done doing shadow work? You done doing this part? Like, okay, you ready to like step into the fucking sunlight? Like, because like you're out here in the fucking like in the pits. Like, what is the sunlight to you? And I'm like, I don't know what the sunlight is to me. It's like, you can ask me what is it that I don't want. I can tell you, and you ask me what I do want, and I have a harder time coming to the conclusion. So once that started unraveling for me, I was like, oh shit, like I haven't checked myself. Like, I haven't checked myself. I was like, all right, you know, because I'm a very like I'm very clear with when I'm doing something, pursuing something, like for it to be the utmost authenticity. So I like checked myself. I'm like, you know, the same way I do with others when I feel something is like, you know, necessarily off, which kind of like side note, another thing coming up when I was younger is like, I was around a lot of people that just openly said that they were bi even at a young age. And, you know, they very much so might be.
Right.
But my experience with like bi women in particular was always like, hey, like, you know, let's make out in front of everybody at this bar. And I'm like, no, like, I actually like you. I want to make out with you in my house. Like, I want to do it in secret, not in secret, but in privacy rather than in like out in the open to appease, because I always felt like a show for men.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm over here feeling more gay than this situation is providing space to be safe in. And it made me have this like jaded perspective. Yeah, on yeah, it was like I was trying to say two different words at once. It was just like, but yeah, where I was going with that, I don't even know. But gay, you know,
that's the answer.
Gay clarity, like, gay clarity.
The answer is gay.
That's it. That's where it is. And,
I used to hate like bi people. Like, not hate. Hate's such a strong word.
Yeah.
Like when like a girl used to be like, oh, I'm bisexual or whatever. I used to be like, no, like you
make a choice.
Yeah, you cannot have both worlds. Like, you can't take my women from me whenever you want and then jump back to men. Like, no. Like, my women are mine and only lesbians. But, you know, then I started realizing like, oh shit, yeah. Like, being bi is like, listen, you love who you love, you like who you like, whenever you like it, whenever you feel it, whenever it's calling out to you, like, all right, I get it now. Before it was just like, you greedy. Like, you can't have both.
Gluttonous.
Yeah, you greedy. You a greedy hoe.
Yeah, and it's like, so even with that, like, it's there's so many different things to even unpack. Like, I want to have somebody eventually on the show that identifies as bi and kind of like have that conversation too, because I feel like a lot of people feel both ways, like the way that I have felt, although like I can, it could almost appear like it's hypocritical, although it's not for me. It's like I never identified as bi ever, you know, and not to say that that's like better or less, it's just I didn't, and I genuinely was like, I just like people, and it was the label thing, and I think that's a big reason why I would like veer away from labels with stuff, is because I would have experiences like that where it didn't feel sincere, where I'm like, no, like I really like you, like, and you're over here saying that you like girls too, and it's like, but it's like, you know, there's a limitation, you know, or like feels very temporary, and I feel like that's another catalyst into what made me kind of, besides my just trauma with women in general, kind of like be like, all right, let me like go over here with it, and also pursuing a lot of times like very feminine women, you know, and like that experience for me was like not as balanced as I needed it to be, you know, so just learning.
Yeah, that's another thing too. You have to find, like, once you do find your gayness, I like saying that really close to the mic, gayness, you have to find what you're attracted to, that you feel most comfortable with, you know, like I could never date, never, but, well, I can't now because I'm married, but but like I could never have seen myself dating somebody that looked like me, you know, because, you know, my personality is the tomboy and the like more dominant one, and, you know, my attraction is a female who is, you know, female looking with, you know, a lot of feminine qualities, versus like tomboy or kind of like dressed like me. Like, that's just not my attraction, you know what I mean? So you have to find, once you get into that gay realm, you have to find what feels good for you. Like, am I attracted to, you know, women that look more like me, or their personalities are more dominant or submissive? Like, you gotta toy with that, because you don't know. Like, females are females, but like you have to find, again, now you have to find what feels comfortable for you.
And I feel like that's also just giving the space and the openness to be open to even, you know, any kind of interaction that maybe you didn't imagine yourself with a more feminine woman or a more masculine woman, but you get involved and you see how that dynamic plays out for you. Because especially for people that like, although like I have like, I'm very feminine in the sense I have like very both. Like,
I mean, you can,
you know, and you can, and the thing is, it's like, because appearance wise and energy wise, there's the difference, like in the balance that ultimately happens when you do find the person that you're supposed to like, you know, be with, and like how that comes out is it could be different than you anticipate, or it could be exactly what you anticipate. Like, you never know, right. You know, it's just like, it's just interesting. It's beautiful though. It's like,
even
it's
the
fun.
change too. Like, I had long curly hair at one point, like, and I had girlfriends that dated me like that. Would they have dated me now with short curly hair? Like, who knows? Probably not, because it's probably not what they're into or whatever. But it's just like,
I'm sure they would have though, because of personality though.
Yeah,
you know,
personality is a personality, and most of the time that doesn't change. You know.
Yeah, that's
one thing I will say, and I have to freaking say this, is please stop saying, like, when there's a lesbian or a gay person or whatever, like, who hurt you? You know what I mean? Like, what bad experiences did you have with a man that made you turn? That you don't have to have a bad experience.
Everybody has had bad experiences with men, and I stay straight for the whole life. It don't matter. Like, it's like newsflash, everyone, even men, y'all have bad experiences with men. Okay,
right?
Like,
amen.
That's not the catalyst to sexuality.
It's not right. Thank you. That is not the reason why women are gay or men are gay or whatever.
No, it's so true.
You know, who hurt you? Like, what man did you wrong? Ain't no man do me wrong. Like, no man did me right.
Facts. Yeah. It's something too that I like. I realized I was just talking on the phone with my friend yesterday, and I was talking about how, like, every relationship I've ever had with a man, like, I felt obligated. It's like, was it a relationship, or was it like a project to, like, pick up and help and nourish this person, this broken person entirely, which given I also have done with women. So I'm not just like bringing that to one side. But with my personal relations with men, it's always been like projecting onto them what I want a woman to be. Like projecting onto them qualities that women have that, you know, men and women are just built differently.
Yeah.
And there are people that make mild exceptions to that, you know, and there's definitely embodiments, and I think that's also why I've been attracted to gay men, because there are men tuned into that compassion, but it's just a lot more difficult for men than women innately, because we create children, so like we have to have that like ingrained in the forefront, which they actually have it pushed back, because as like primally like hunter-gatherers, like you can't be super compassionate, or else you're not going to kill the animal you need to eat, or you're not going to, you know, to fight the war you need to fight. Like it's just the way we're wired. So with that was one of my experiences, projecting onto that. But then also, like, I felt like I was always like momming men, and like, I don't want that in a relationship. And why do I feel like that's what I had to have? And like, once again, the learning, the experience, all of that brought me to where I'm at today. And that made me realize like what it is that I do want, what it is that I do deserve. And like you were saying, I don't think that I'm meant to be miserable. Like, I have never had a experience like long term, let me say, not say never. Like, I haven't had experience with men personally that I'm like, oh wow, I'm getting everything that I deserve. I feel fulfilled. I feel satisfied. And it has nothing to do with men as in general. It's just not for me.
Right.
Not for me. That's not what satisfies me. It's not that men can't satisfy anybody.
Right.
No, it's just for me, I feel a lot more satisfied with a woman.
Right.
I feel a lot more like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like my needs are met innately, like, and it's just like
all of the above.
And I don't have to suffer. Like what? Like why? I feel good, and I don't have to feel guilty about that either. And it's like, you know, just listen to your heart.
We don't have to be men haters. Like, I'm not a man hater. Like, I love men. Yeah, I mean, I came from a man, and my dad is amazing. You know, like I don't hate men like at all. I'm not like a man hater. So people will automatically think like, oh, you hate men, and it's like, no, I don't. I don't at all. Like, men are dope.
Yeah,
you know?
and needed balance in the world.
Right.
It doesn't mean that because of that we need to innately be with them, you know, and that's the societal shit. Right. That's the familial shit that gets like seeped into your head. Even when you are a person, like I'm a person that grew up, I always did me. Like I always did me. Even when I was ridiculed and whatever, I always did me. So it's like I wasn't like more of a timid person that would be super afraid of like, oh, okay, should I say, should I do this? Like I didn't give a fuck. Like I really didn't when I was younger, and like I had to grow up to give more of a fuck. I feel like
right.
And so just to be aware of like how these things that are said still do play an effect. Like I never thought that me personally would have had taken this long to have this much clarity in this topic, if that makes sense. Like I'm working with my homeopatist, like shout out to my homeopatist, love you, Mary, like she'll be on here one day. And one of the, I said, I was just like thinking about something. I was like, you know, is there a remedy, homeopathy remedy that's called ash? Because, you know, it's my name. I'm like, is there, from the ash tree? I'm like, do you have like an ash tree remedy, and what is it for?
Right.
So she sent me the description. So it's like a huge description. It has to do with everything. If anybody's ever looked up a crystal or an herb, you know there's just mad shit it's about to tell you. So I'm reading through all of it. And I see one of the things is like, you know, it was like clarifying in, I don't know if it said clarifying or if I'm just projecting that because I keep saying that word, but essentially like coming aware of sexuality. Like sexuality was in there, and I was like, that's so crazy. But I remember reading it and like resonating with other things and being like, I don't need that. I know where I'm at. Like I know where I'm at. Like I like people, you know, I know where I'm at with that. And like lo and behold, the fucking clarity I didn't know that I
Right.
needed. Like, it just deepened.
Yeah.
It just deepened. It's like, you know, when you think you
had
know
the
yourself.
clarification. You just needed to be open enough to receive it.
Yeah. It's like it was always there. I just needed to have it, like, click, and then the space for, you know, the experience in which I'm having is, you know, have the space for that to exist and grow. So, and be created.
Yes, girl.
Mm.
Can we just have more gay people in this world?
Just all the gay people.
That's like, you know, we had a hangout session. Me, my wife, and our friend Anna, who we love. She's so awesome. We were all hanging out, and we were just having like a deep conversation, and we were just like talking about people and how they feel and how the world is and all this. And it just really boiled down to this saying that we just like embedded, that everybody's just trying to feel better. And it really is the answer to so many things. Like, everybody's just trying to feel better. Everybody's just trying to feel good. Everybody's just trying to feel like they're trying to live their best life. Everybody's just trying to feel like they want to be who they want to be with no judgments.
Yep.
Everybody's just trying to feel better. Ingrain that in your brain, because we got to live by that, you know?
And there's a sense of compassion that comes with that too, because when we look at, everyone's just trying to feel better. You can even look at the, you know, the drug addict in the corner that you might have resistance to. That person's just trying to feel better. No matter what way they're going about it, they're trying to feel better. And there's a sense of compassion that comes with that I feel like the hate in the world is built off of the lack of compassion. If you have truth in knowing in something, but you don't have compassion, it can be so abrasive and do more harm than good. If you're like, yo, this is what I want to tell you, but you don't say it with compassion, and it doesn't have to be filtration or coddling, but compassion, understanding, and give it both at once, it could bring the world in more of an imbalance, you know? And so, like, that quote, I think, is really incredible for both polarities of the aspect. Like, yeah, everyone just wants to feel good, do what you love, but also, like, have compassion for people that are doing shit that might seem like fucked up to you. Right. And it's like, because you
might not love it, but they love it, and
they're
it's
doing
making
the
them
best.
feel better.
Yeah, it's making whatever that's what they can do at the moment, you know. And like, and to not villainize human beings, and just understand we're all having a human experience, and we're doing the best that we can, you know. If something triggers you, like, encouraging you to, like, lean into that and be like, what if you take that perspective and just be like, well, they're just trying to feel better. Anytime something gets you mad, they're just trying to feel better. Someone curses you out, we're like, well, they're just trying to feel better because they were probably cursed out their entire life, and they felt like, you don't have to even go that deep.
Their life sucks.
Yeah, and you don't have to go that to it, but just like, they're just trying to feel better.
Right.
It's nothing personal to me.
Yeah.
Or, they're just trying to feel better. It is personal to me because I want them to feel better too. You know, it's like, it could be both aspects. So it's a beautiful thing, you know.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. I'm happy that y'all came to that conclusion.
Yeah, that was dope little.
It's like me on
hangout
anytime.
session. We were just like, yo, the answer is just like, everybody's just trying to feel better.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Like, anytime that I ever sit with medicine after, I'm like, that's it. That's the conclusion. Yeah. That's the ultimate conclusion. It's
I'm
like,
just trying to feel better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to feel better. Everyone's just trying to feel better. We're just trying to do the best we can. That's it.
I'm gonna just put it on my head every time I'm driving and somebody's just having some
tattoo it on your chest.
Yeah,
like,
that's it. Some episode where they just want to honk and go all crazy.
You should put it like a little.
Post it up. Roll down my window. Everybody's just trying to feel better.
You should put it on like a vinyl sticker on the back of your car. Like, everyone's just trying to feel better.
I said we need to label this. Yo, nobody steal our little motto, okay?
Facts.
Like, I'm gonna copyright that shit.
Yeah, copyright and make some shirts.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, yo, I'm gonna make shirts.
Oh, that'd be
some
really
hats.
Cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Don't steal my ideas, guys.
Yeah, don't do it.
I swear to God, I'll catch you. I will catch a body.
The ballads will put that. I'll put some like Reiki protection into it.
That's
boom,
our
boom.
thing.
That's it. That's it. Contained. Fuck y'all not get it.
Right. You ain't getting none of this cut.
Yeah, but it's true. Everyone is just trying to feel better, and you know, I hope that anything on this podcast or on this episode or anything in general, to whoever is listening to it, just be encouraged to speak up, be vulnerable, do what makes you feel good, do what makes you feel happy, and
live your life authentically. Yeah, I hope anything that we said today resonated with whoever, and somebody whoever needed to hear it. Because, you know, we need to be talking about this stuff more often.
Yeah.
People don't. You know, people don't know what people go through, and you never know what somebody's feeling. Just reach out, be a good person.
And instead of assuming, just like ask directly.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have a question, even like especially with this topic, with sexuality, and specifically it's the sexuality more so referring to gayness. And I did realize that it's not just like all embodiments of sexuality, but that's okay. Like everybody's always, the hetero norm is everywhere. We can have a whole episode on just the gay aspect
that'll
of
be
it.
the next one.
Yeah, at some point. But
sure.
yeah, it's important to have these conversations with people, you know, to, if you are questioning, if you are, you know, especially I find it's especially the labelless people that I find that really be taking a certain route with it, where it's like, you know, I know I didn't personally ever feel like comfortable enough to be like super involved in the LGBT community. Like I always had friends that were, and I was around it, and like I would go to Pride and like do different things. I do have like things that were rainbow for like always. Like I've always, it's never that I was ashamed or afraid or scared to show. It was just like I guess it was also an aspect in me that was like, yo, am I gay enough to be here? Like, or not even gay enough to be here, like,
should I be waving this flag?
Or should I? Or is this like such an intense and extreme, like extremely titled thing? Because anything that's like that, I tend to veer away from. Anything that's like very labeled, I veer away from, because it feels like almost like a undertone of like a neediness to prove. And I've been working so long on being my source of validation that I don't need to prove anything to anyone but myself. So when I go into spaces that it feels like I need to prove myself in order to be there, I don't be there.
Yeah, it feels uncomfortable and doesn't feel real.
Yeah. So with that, and not to say that that's like every LGBTQ, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like I'm saying like just anything, like even in any label of anything, spiritual groups and all these different things that I do and I'm involved in, I have not titled myself, because I feel like it's the most authentic thing when you walk into a room and you just sit down and you vibe with people who vibe, rather than being like, hey, I'm a master Reiki teacher and I've been doing this for this many years and I'm an esthetician and I do that and I'm gay and I'm this, and like, you like me yet?
Which you're all of those that you just said.
And it's like,
or you have to wear a gay, like, I don't know. Sometimes I have like this little chakra bracelet and it has the pride colors, you know? Yeah. Or have like a little ankle bracelet, but like, I don't feel the need to have to like, sometimes I see like girls and they're wearing like a gay pride belt and a great gay pride chain and a gay pride hat, and I'm just like, wow, that person is really trying to stand out. Like, I mean, own it, but like, I don't know. I don't really feel like I need to do any of those things just because I think I look gay already.
It's like just also the embodiment of just living in your authentic truth. You're not trying to prove it to anybody. You know you're gay. You know, and you're like not trying to be like, yo, like, and it's like, and it's not that people don't know that they're gay. It's like it's no shade. Like, I just want to clarify, none of this is shade.
Yeah, no.
If you are a person that might be like the side in which we're talking about,
the human walking gay flag.
Yeah, like if you happen to be like super prideful about something, you know, like maybe, yeah, that's great. And also maybe like ask yourself why you're doing anything in such intense, and that's with anything that has to do with, if you are, everything in moderation, right? That's the key and to everything is like, if you are doing too much of anything, maybe sit with yourself and ask why, because you can find some medicine in that. You know, maybe there are some inadequacies that are coming up in that, you know, that when you're trying too hard with something because you don't feel like you're enough, or when you're doing, you know, anything too much of something is never that healthy.
Yeah.
So even to regulate that for yourself, like, I mean, fuck anyone else, like, but for yourself. So if you do feel triggered by anything on this topic, on this subject, on this podcast, like, yo, straight up, like, you can hit me up about it. You'd be like, yo, you triggered me. I'll be like, hey, you want to talk about it? Yeah, like, absolutely. Or you can, you know, if you want to talk with yourself about it, write it down. Like, why did this trigger me? Ask yourself why.
not everything that we're saying is like, you know,
concrete
100%
default. Yeah,
correct.
like exactly.
We're just saying how
just
we feel.
humans having a
Yeah.
human experience. And like I even say, like, even for myself, like I feel like I'll be so labelist at times that it's like, what the fuck am I even? Like, I'm a formless blob of just like, I'm adaptable to everything. Like, no, like, I don't
Right.
want to be adaptable to just anything. Like, I don't want to be in a space where, like, I know that if I was triggered growing up by like the whole bisexual scenario where I'm like, yo, like, I dead ass like you, and I feel like I'm being played with because you're over here like doing this like ruminating in all spaces thing. How can I then do that in a different aspect? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was triggered by that and I allowed myself to be formless, I get it. I wasn't trying to close doors. Okay, I
Yeah.
only like this or I only like that. I wasn't trying to, but now it's just a matter of narrowing it down. And I think that there's power in that too. So there is power in labels. There is power in identifying, calling something out, because in order to understand it, integrate it, move forward, let go, or make space for something new, you do need to call it out. But when you're only calling it out, then I feel like you also miss that openness to anything is possible.
Yeah.
So
I have somebody that I know, and it's funny because, you know, recently she's like saying, I want to be more gay. Like, you know, like I want girls to notice me. I like girls, and, you know, how can I be more gay? And it's like, I'm not a manual. I cannot tell you how to be more gay. You know, like I just remember like saying like smile more, or just like engage with females more. Talk to I don't know. Like, how can you be more gay?
you just
I
gotta
don't
be more
fucking know.
you. That's
Just be
it.
you.
Yeah.
And if it feels right, then like allow yourself to just be a little flirtatious with a woman. Or I have no clue. I'm not a expert lesbian. Like, how can I be more gay? I don't fucking know. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think that's with anybody.
maybe that's questioning like who you are versus who you want to be. You want to be more gay, or are you more gay? You know what I mean? Like, there's no manual for it, and it's not like something that you learn.
No.
It's something that's genuine, and if you don't have it, then you have some work you have to do with yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's literally just that, like, just rerouting. Like, if somebody wants to be, like, more gay or more into that aspect, like, it's more just, like, understanding what's comfortable in yourself. Like, I have a friend of mine that she is, like, she's very gay. She's always been very much so more gay. Like, still open to things, but, like, very much so more on the gayer side. And I remember looking at her and, like, seeing the way she dressed and being like, this isn't you. Like, this isn't you. Like, she would dress more feminine than I feel like she actually is.
Right.
And it's, like, not that she's like super masked, because she's not. Like, she's definitely like dresses like similar to me, like somewhere in between. Some days will be like more feminine, more tomboy, whatever the case is. And I'm like, sis, like we were going out one day and she was like, oh, I was like, yo, you want to come out? And she's like, oh, I got to go home and get changed. I'm like, no, let me dress you. And I dressed her in this outfit. And I was just fucking hyping her up, because I'm like, yo, you look so dope. Like, it was like sweatpants, like a baggy shirt, a bucket hat. I'm like, look at you.
You look dope. You look like me. As you dressed her in all of your attire.
Mad funny, yeah. Like, low key, but also high key. Like, I was so excited that she was wearing something that just looked like more in the realm of what she could be more comfortable in. Because I used to always crack on her and be like, oh, yo, like, 'cause in her head she was so much more masculine than she like appeared and seemingly was. And she'd be like in a dress, like talking about like, yeah, because you know when I'm pursuing the dude. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck.
That just doesn't mesh well.
It didn't match. And I was just like, so I was like, I would fuck her and be like, yo, like, oh yeah, because you know you out here in bad masculine and shit, you know. And then now it's like I see her and she is embodying her truth. Everything she's doing and posting. We went to the mall and on a shopping spree. Like, she got all these different outfits. I'm like, come to the men's section. She never shopped in the men's section. I always did. Like, I'm
best place to
I'm
shop
big
in,
TJ Maxx
section.
girl, and I've always been like floating back and forth throughout my whole life. So it's like I was like, yo, let's go. And it's so cute. Like, I love seeing her post, and it's like she's posting, it's like in a little bit of a different way, and it just looks so authentic to her.
Yeah.
So like
she looks more comfortable.
Yes, more comfortable in her own skin.
I used to wear lipstick. Like, What the fuck? Like, I just laugh at it now. Like, lipstick. I used to wear eyeliner. I mean, I think the eyeliner thing was pretty cool because it was in my, like, almost, like, little emo-ish stage.
Yeah, I can see you still wearing eyeliner.
Yeah,
like, also,
but
like,
I don't
emo
have
boy
any.
shit.
People
Yeah.
think I have eyeliner, and it's like,
I can see
don't.
that, yeah, because your eyelashes are dark.
Yeah, and it's like, why did I have to if I had already dark? But, like, just doing those things, like, even wearing tight shirts, and I would wear, like, a skirt here and there, like, long time ago. I hated it, though. Yeah. But I just thought
But you were finding your way. You were also finding your way. Like, for me, it was, like, I would always dress, like, back and forth, and anytime I would date a man, like, they were always very threatened by that. Like, it'd be like, why are you out here looking mad gay? Why you look like a little boy? Look, oh, you want to get your nails done? Like, you want to, I'm like,
right.
No. Like, can I just be fucking comfortable?
No.
Like, what the fuck? Like, why the fuck are you mad, insecure, and, like, pressed that I, like, I look better in your fucking shorts than you do. Right. Like, why are you so mad?
Why you
like,
mad?
I'm just trying to understand. Like, then I was like, it's just, like, crazy.
I mean, I get my nails done. Look at these. You have to have good looking hands, man.
Shiny.
And I just did them myself.
Go ahead.
Right. Like, that just shows, like, your hygiene.
Acrylic nails is what I was referring to.
Oh, yeah. See, I used to get tips and
stuff
like that.
I do that, like, once a year, though. I still do that. But, like, once a year. It's a mood. Last time I got acrylic nails, I broke up with somebody. I was like, that's all I needed.
Oh, shit. That's all I needed.
I just needed this energy. Like, harness the energy of the taps.
That anger is coming out right there.
I was like, you know what? This is gonna work. You know when people talk bad more with their nails, like, this is not gonna work out. Like,
that's why you gotta
figure it out. Yeah,
yeah, you gotta to let out the anger.
Yeah, I was having an existential crisis also because that relationship was the last relationship with a man. Like, so it's just like,
hence the reasons why.
Yeah, right, yeah. I was having my own existential crisis. I was just like, I don't want nothing of this shit. Like, why the fuck am I still here? Like, we haven't been doing nothing for a long time. Like, I'm definitely a person, like, I wouldn't say I'm hypersexual. I wouldn't say I'm not sexual. I would say I'm, like, in between, probably more on the hyper side. And, like, I wasn't trying to do nothing with this person for a while. I was like, something's wrong. That's not me.
Something's wrong.
That's not me.
Well, just note to self, if you are starting to dive into who you authentically feel that you are, getting these tips while being with a woman would not be ideal because
oh yeah, no, I know
that might hurt.
Yeah,
that might hurt.
That would hurt. I wouldn't do that. I want to do that. Yeah, and just the hygiene in general, like, just the nails. There's and the nails that I choose to get are, like, the fucking pointy ass, like, fucking, like, theatrical
you just
ass.
Pretty much want to, like,
nah, it would hurt.
Demolish somebody.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Don't do that.
It's like weigh out the options. Like, the options are like, like, destroy my fucking nail beds and fucking have these intensely ass, poke myself in the eye when I put my contacts in.
At least make them square, bro.
Yeah, no, I don't even need any of that. That was like that's what I needed to be the catalyst of that. I need to put my clothes on.
Rest in peace tips.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace tips.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So funny. So funny, the different things you experience.
I know, you don't start thinking about it. You're like, oh shit, yeah.
I feel like there's been so much unfolding. Like, the doors have opened and then my mind is open, and then also, like, I've had so much resurfacing memories that I've forgotten of, like, me and, like, the experiences I've had with being shamed and, like, feeling like anytime I was, like, doing some gay shit and, like, feeling like we were talking about in the beginning, and be like, wait, is this wrong? Like, why am I feeling like, because of other people? I had a lot of those memories, like, resurfacing, and then simultaneously I've had, like, really amazing memories resurfacing too. So it's been like, wow, this makes sense. Wow, this makes sense. Like, nothing has ever made more sense in my fucking life
than right now, this moment.
Yo, right. For real. I've never felt more clear. Right. So it's just like get one, screaming from the mountains, screaming on mountaintops, like, tell everybody, but not even, I don't even want to tell anybody. I don't even fucking care to tell people. I'm only saying this on this podcast because I know people can relate. Right. I don't really give a fuck to tell people. I want to tell the world. I just want to tell the earth about it. I'm just like, I'm like, thank you.
Going
so
to
grateful.
The forest and just talk to the birds.
I was like, to talk to the sun, talk to the moon about it, you know, like, all of the things, like,
That's dope. I love that.
Yeah.
And who you gotta tell? You didn't gotta tell people.
I don't have to.
It's nobody's business.
It's also
they'll find out eventually.
I don't care to, like,
you
have
don't have to
prove
prepare
anything.
people.
Yeah, no.
Like, no. If you go into a party and you walk in with this this person and it happens to be a female and there you are in the corner kissing her or holding her hand, like, there you go.
Yeah.
You have been prepared.
Yeah.
Like, you don't got to prepare people.
No.
That's your business. And you know, whatever feels comfortable to you. Like, fuck it. Walk in there like, this is my girl. This is my boo. I screamed it in the woods.
I screamed it in the woods.
The birds heard me. And here we are. I love that. So dope.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Just be gay, everybody.
Everybody just be gay. That's it. Nah.
Gay.
I mean, I know we need balance. We need balance in the world. Don't everybody be gay.
Yeah, no.
But if you are gay, then embody that shit.
Right. Like, let it out. Talk to somebody. Vibe with somebody. I think that we should say, if you feel it and you've been hiding it and you like this specific person, today go to their house and just plant one on them. That's it. Don't even say nothing. Like, say, yo, let's meet up, or go to their house, open the door, and just plant one on them. If they slap the shit out of you, just be like, it's all good. Turn around and walk away. Satisfied.
You shot your shot.
Yeah.
You shot your shot.
Satisfied. Let that person know. Friends, too. I know friends be hiding it. It's like, oh, she's my best friend. I have such a crush on her. When I was, 11, I had this best friend, and I wanted to make out with her so bad. And she was my best friend, and I didn't know what the hell that meant, because I still was a child. I was a child, but I knew I wanted to make out with this girl. And I used to think about her in that way all the time. Yeah. So if you have a friend that you like,
maybe consent first on that one, though. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, not everybody's always feeling mutual about that. There are some situations.
Don't listen to me. I'm just bold and crazy.
Yeah, that's.
I'm like, get yourself a case. Go over there.
Get yourself a case.
If they say no, do it anyways. Don't do that. My bad.
On the one with the friendship. That
I'm like the devil, you're the angel.
I mean, I feel like we've alternated throughout it's a balance. It's good.
I'm terrible.
But
let your friend know.
Just again,
because you will be a good friend if you're just open with them.
And honestly, it's just because then you get to see if it's mutual first off, and then if it's not mutual, you can go to the terms of maybe identifying with, was this just a romantic projection that you put on this person, and you can move forward through it, either giving space and or being able to get over that. That looks in for everybody too. It's because there could be a really great I'm personally in that boat where it's I never had a friend. It was
I never had a friend. I never had a friend, period.
It was back and forth, a mutual thing. I've had friends that have fell in love with me. I've had experiences, not really. I fell in love with not really. It's if I've was pursuing somebody, would be I knew I was pursuing them. It wasn't oh, you're my friend. I'm no, hi. I'm here. This is what I want. But there's this in between, and ideally I think it's important to be friends with whoever you are going to be with, prior. Everyone says that.
Don't mess up your friendship for it. Of course not. But
I did, yeah. But it may be mutual.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Peep the vibes, but also be real with yourself. Is it? Do you feel a back and forth, or do you feel you just hyperfixated and there's difference, and explore that.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you feeling upset when your friend goes on a date with a guy and you're sitting there at home
or on a girl or with a girl?
Damn, right.
They don't have to. It don't have to be the same.
Yeah. Right.
That's also why do you think? Why do you think that a lot of gay women go for women that are straight or identify as straight?
Man,
why do you think that happens?
You straight women just fuck our heads up. Period. I've liked tons of straight women. I have a friend that we're still friends to this day, but I liked her so much, and she reciprocated it in a way to me where I knew it was only me that she felt that way towards, a female. Because she never expressed it in any other way, and I knew that she was into guys, but I genuinely loved her in a way that like I knew it was more than like friends, and we would make out all the time, and I just really liked her, you know what I mean? But like clearly I knew like our worlds were different, and she wasn't into girls. She was just into me.
Mm-hmm.
So
which is a thing. Which
yeah,
definitely, is a thing that I feel like people. But I also feel like then she might be a little gay,
Yeah, she's probably a little hidden gay.
Yeah, maybe
I
just
don't know.
didn't come to the full,
Yeah. But
acceptance
you know
of
what?
them.
We're still friends, and she's one of my closest friends, and I love the shit out of her. And, she's happy. She's living her life. She's, married and all that stuff. And, like, yeah, we're still friends. But you know what? These straight girls will do it to you. Shit.
I mean, it's happened to me too. I completely understand. Like, it's like I've been like seeing somebody like, oh my God, like be like, fuck, like imagine my whole life with them, all of these different aspects, and be like, but I know better.
Yeah, but it's just like you like who you like. Mm-hmm. And because she was a female, or because anybody's a female, like I'm gonna be attracted to that person, with no holds. It's like, all right, you're straight, great, but I like you, girl. Mm-hmm. So
I think for me, like, I'm not attracted to temporary, and like everything is temporary in this world, so it's not even realistic. But at the same token, like very extremely temporary, So like, I've seen it with a lot of my gay friends that I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're hurting your own heart. Like, stop it, and like
you're hurting your own heart.
But like, and I do the same shit, but I won't pursue it necessarily. Like, I have, but I things have changed. But I feel like also a lot of parts of that is like also like being picked too. Like, oh, like I'm the only girl.
Right.
Yeah,
that honestly, that made me feel special as shit. Yeah. I was just like, well, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, and it feels good. It feels good. But it's also like, it's good to like have those experiences and then like look back and reflect and be like, well, what else was I learning from that? And maybe why was I pursuing something that I know was not going to be like long term, which is okay, like if that's what you want. Like some people are okay with just like doing things like in a small amount of times. Like I'm OD I'm a lover, you know what I mean? Like I'll be like imagining things, so.
I mean, I definitely feel like at that moment in time in life, I definitely felt like I'm gonna work her down all the way down till she's gonna be like, you know what, I want to be with you, but it never happened. Whatever. It is what it is.
I think there's so much power in accepting people just as they are too, though. But like, just as they are, like being like, oh, okay, not projecting what we would like them to be, and just like accepting full on like how you are, like you're with your wife, like you have that, and I'm sure you accept her as she is, and that's how you guys became into the space hot. And role that she's beautiful.
I have a hot wife. She's so hot. She's so sexy.
What is she? Like,
she's a hot ass wife.
I was like, when I had seen her
nationality.
Yeah.
So she looks really weird, guys. She's half alien, half human. I think definitely more alien, but she's Ecuadorian and Cuban.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask if she was Peruvian.
Yeah, she looks very alien. Nah, she has like this exotic look, and she's like dark skin, but like Asian kind of looking, like I don't know, like Filipino kind. I don't know, but then when people have no clue like what her nationality is. But yeah, her dad is Cuban and her mom's Ecuadorian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's a cool little mix there. Mm-hmm. So when we have babies, it'll be a whole shitload of things, probably. Yeah. She's pretty hot. My wife is hot. Did I say that already?
I love that. It's that energy that... You see, now you looking over here. Now you go and you bringing that energy here.
My mustache getting hot.
Oh, Max, I feel that. It's a little bit more here too on top of that.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, it's beautiful thing to loving whoever you choose to love. So
of course,
encouraging that for sure.
Yeah.
And just accepting people as they are, not that was one of the biggest clarifiers for me, especially with where I'm at now and who I'm with now, is just accepting people as they are. Like, I don't love this person for who I imagine them to be. I love them for exactly who they are. Mm-hmm. And for knowing them for so long too, you know, and being friends with them and seeing them in different lights and different spaces, like being with people that I'm like, you know, like, why are you not with me? But then also, like, understanding, like, the process in which it was going. But then also, like, just, I'm grateful. You know, I'm grateful to every person that, you know, that person was with. You know, I'm happy that every lesson that was learned to get them here, to get me here, to get, you know, it's just, like, beautiful. A beautiful thing.
Yeah. Look at you. Flustered. She's just thinking about her boo. She's like, I can't wait till this fucking podcast over, because we have been having this whole gay talk, and I just want to go see my boo and be gay as fuck.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I do.
I'm gonna. I gotta go be gay before I go take a 4-hour drive upstate. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
all right. Gayness and then drive.
Yeah. For sure. And then gayness on the ride.
Then,
I'm sure. Ooh. Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, phone call or something. But I know you making it sound.
I thought you were taking the drive with her.
Oh, no.
And I was picturing, like, gay stuff happening in the car.
Now we bring that kind of thought into this.
I'm a pig.
I
get it. Yeah.
I want to, before we go, I would like to do 2 things to kind of seal this podcast. And thank you for everyone who tuned in with us and stayed with us along the way. Thank you for all being here.
Thank you for listening to our gayness.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, this was a good talk. It was needed.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me here, girl. Mm-hmm. I'm honored. I feel honored. Mm-hmm. I was definitely nervous because I don't do this well with interaction of being put on the spot. But, like, thank you. Honored, girl.
Yeah. No, it's like we were talking about it on Monday. Like, it's I have a podcast, and the people I invite onto the podcast is people who wouldn't necessarily be on podcasts. I didn't necessarily know I was going to be on a podcast. Like, and it's not that... you know, it's like I have been very shy, like, in my life. Like, if it's just one-on-one, like, you know, meet somewhere and, like, have a conversation, whatever, like, I could, but once I feel like there's eyes on me, I'll, like, freeze up. And how I work through it is just keep going. Like, you go back in my podcast, you'll literally witness me being like a fucking turtle. And I'm just like... Yeah, and then this, and then that, and
you're like, why isn't anybody tuning in?
I'm like, yeah, why is it? Well, I'm like, I couldn't even.
Because you made them fall asleep.
Like I said, 172 times. Like, oh my goodness. But I just kept pushing forward, you know. So I think it's like really great because, you know, there's all personalities are welcome and needed, and I do love to like interact with everybody. I personally just like to amplify voices that don't necessarily put themselves out there, you know, hits face on microphone. Yeah. And like, you know, but just the conversation that you might have with someone in passing. Like I met you, you know, in a small amount of time where it was like, I was like, yo, like, I feel like I deadass know you, and I'm like, instantly. And I'm
like, this girl got a vibe. She's a dope vibe.
For sure. And it's just, we just like clicked right away. And I like, just like, was like, okay, like, I know we don't know each other like that, but I feel like you're already my friend.
Right.
You know, so when I was thinking about this topic, because I was in Jamaica, like just being mad gay, thinking about like all my gayness. And I was just thinking about different things. And then like you had popped up in my mind to like interview you in general. Like I said that, I think the last time I seen you when we like bumped into each other, I was like, yo, like I wanted you to come on the podcast at some point, you know? And then I thought about you, not just because like you're gay. Like I know plenty of people who are gay. I know some people who are gay and married as well, and like different aspects. But specifically you, because your authenticity. Like you're not worried about, you know, people pleasing to the masses. Because I feel like there is medicine in the rawness, and hence the duality in the name of this podcast is to bring the realness. And not have it super coddled, but also not being disrespectful. Like just having here's the authentic truth of somebody. Like, that's how I really indicate who I'm going to have on the podcast. Is like, I'm like, oh wow, that person seems like they're really embodying their truth. And it always happens where it's just like, it'll come into my mind, or it'll just like, where it'll be like completely random, or like I'll see somebody, or I'll bump into each other. It just always kind of unfolds, and that's how this podcast is, and that's how it navigates. So thank you, thank you,
thank you
for being in alignment.
And
with that.
like you just said too, it's like we wound up finding out that we had tons of people like that we know like in common. So it's just like, of course it's fitting to meet you, and then this person that I know, and I think this person's dope, and so do you, and it's just like, just things play out that way, because when you're aligned with people who you meet in life that just cross your path, and you're just aligned with them, period.
Yeah. And something that's it's something, even going back to the very beginning thing that we talked about, is like, it's really cool to like, you never know how much of an impact you make on somebody's life. Like, I remember after meeting you that day, like, I was kind of going through it that day, and like our like mild, like not mild, I mean like a short interaction that we had in that moment, like, made a lasting effect on me. I was like, yo, like, I really fuck with that person. Like, this, you reminded me that like I like humanity, because sometimes it's like fuck everybody, and then it's like, oh, okay, no, I love people, and we're humans, we fluctuate between the two, and like that day, like, you were medicine for me to interact with, and it's just beautiful to have those different things kind of unfold, and to get to view these different relations we have in life. And going back to like, you have the sexuality aspect and your relationships and your romantic partnerships, and then you have relations with people all around you, whether it's business, whether it's co-working, whether it's friends, and the platonic aspects of that. And it's also good to pursue those too, the same way, like, to pursue the romantic aspect, which is always centered. It's always good to also like pursue, when you feel like you have a common ground with somebody, because you just having a conversation with them, or you just listening to the conversation with them, like, can be so impactful, and friendships are needed in life. And like, so grateful, grateful girl. Thank you.
Yeah, make me
bless.
tear here.
Out here being mad emo. I mean, shit. Like, you put me on the spot.
I love you already, girl.
OD, no, for real. Like, so yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Of course, I appreciate you too. Of course, yeah. And to conclude this podcast, I'm gonna pull one of these cards, because they were yelling at me while I was coming over here. And oh no, my phone died. Fuck. It's okay. Shit, I meant to plug it in. Damn it. Did the typo. Now my phone died. It's
all good.
It's okay.
We got it somewhere in the realm of the world. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so back. Let me get back into this.
We caught most of it, so.
Yeah, I just feel bad that we don't get to read the things that everybody was saying on there.
Oh, damn. We'll see them later.
Yeah, we'll go back and be like, shit.
Thank you for tuning in, y'all.
Thank you all. I'm so sorry. So I'm gonna like this.
That's technology for you.
Damn. Yeah. All right. Whatever. I'm not gonna.
Nah, don't harp on it.
Nope.
It's all good.
Get that out of here.
Negativity awaits.
Negativity has exited my vehicle. So I want to pull a card. I'm just tuning into the energy and the vibration of anybody who is open to receiving the message from this card, and tuning into the creator, the divine, and whatever is the message for anybody that's out here that may need clarity, especially in regards to their sexuality at this time and what that may look like. So the message that's coming out now is to observe, to be mindful, to see what it is that's all around you, see what you are noticing within yourself and within others. If you observe, you get to also, it's not only observing outside, it's observing inwardly. Like, when do I project onto somebody? What do I want? What don't I want? How do I react to a male? How do I react to a female? How do I react to somebody in between? Where am I at with these different things? So right now is not necessarily the time to kind of do more of the action, but more of the inward reflection and the observation of how you react to your surroundings. So that's the message for that.
Observe, y'all.
Observe. Be mindful.
Dope.
Yeah.
Wait, did you also notice the rainbow right above?
Oh, yo.
Can we just point that out right there?
Yo, wait, yo.
I'm just saying.
And
I'm
it's
like,
all
wait.
women.
Oh,
Yo,
that's
you
why
can't
you
make
gotta
this shit up.
focus on
You
these
can't make this shit up.
cards.
Look at this. Come on. Thank you for that. Thank you. What's like,
Bam. What?
be gay, be great.
The card says it all.
That's it. What?
Shit.
Now you just gotta accept it.
This is your ticket.
That's mad funny.
Yo, that's
wow.
crazy. All women. I mean, they're pretty cute too.
And with that,
Oh shit.
see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank y'all.
And
Thank you.
live your embodied truth. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank
Yo,
you.
and it won't be the last time. We'll be back up here.
Hell no. Yeah.
Talk about another topic too.
Don't forget, everybody just trying to feel better.
Yes, everyone's trying to feel better. Everyone's just trying to feel better. So,
That's it.
bye.
Peace out.